I will try my best with an unbiased lens to talk about the Dallas Cowboys and what these Cowboy fans have been saying literally the past 5 weeks. And I think reality has finally hit, and it's been really quiet. Okay, so I kind of want to go over the Dallas Cowboys. I want to go over if the frauds that they are, and not even comparing them to the Eagles. This is on the fans of what they've created that team to be in their minds and what they were going to do. And that's all I really got to say. So let's get into it.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
I hate certain things that happen with certain teams, okay? And this I absolutely love. I mean, trust me, I'm going to get probably a lot of hate in the comment section. And I don't really care because I am an Eagles fan, and I look at the Cowboys from afar, and I think when it came to the offseason, this was really, I think when it really came down to it, this was an offseason going into the regular season where Dak Prescott really had his last chance to really prove himself as a starting quarterback, obviously with the scares of trading for Trey Lance and all that stuff. And, literally the first 4 weeks of the season, Cowboy fans have been pumping their chest. I can't even imagine if the Cowboys were 5-0 right now and how these fans would be. I think, obviously, I've said this a million times. I don't think I think most of the Dallas fan base doesn't like Dak Prescott. I think they support him, but at the end of the day, I don't think any of them like him. I think 75 to 80%, I think, of Cowboy fans in Texas don't even like Dak Prescott. The old heads of some of the old Dallas rosters don't even like Dak Prescott, all talking crap about him, all making a mockery of him, making him a meme at this point, and laughing at him right in his face all over the media. Micah Parsons with his stupid podcast, kind of giving a target on his back every single time. He talks about the team, and he kind of talks a lot of shit. He's always on social media. I think players need to stay away from that crap all the time. But it's just putting a mark on your back every single week, Like, you want to get pissed off because George Kittle wore a fuck Dallas t-shirt, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know what you expect you're going to get from them. This isn't the best we've been playing. The Cowboys have been winning in style. Literally, that's all they've been doing. And because they score 30-plus or 40-plus on a team, it means they're Super Bowl contenders. It doesn't matter because really the Giants, seriously, dude, like, we can all compare schedules. The San Francisco 49ers don't really have they really haven't faced any great teams, and they figured Dallas was going to be the big rude awakening for them, but it was the other way around. Okay, Dallas won against the Giants 40-0, the Jets 30-10, Arizona, they lost that game, and that kind of was the eye-opener of what was to come. They come back and win against, New England 38-3, so everything looks good. A lot of teams that are bad on this list, and especially the New York Giants and the Jets. I mean, the Jets don't have Aaron Rodgers. I think the New England Patriots have a pretty good defense, so I thought they did a good job against them. But there's nothing solidifying the fact that you have to pump your chest and act like that this is it. We are on a roll, and this is where we're going the rest of the season. This is how we're going to play the rest of the season. And you had this one test against San Francisco, which obviously Dak Prescott couldn't get it done against San Francisco in the playoffs last year. The defense did a great job against San Francisco in the playoffs last year, but when it's all put on Dak's shoulders, that's where it counts the most, and it was a total failure. They go into the offseason this year, they get Brandon Cooks, where they don't even use him as an actual wide receiver. They use him on reverses and stupid special shit for I don't know what reason. Mike McCarthy, everyone thinks he was going to turn, Mike McCarthy was going to turn Dak Prescott into a pure pocket Aaron Rodgers like back in the day when he coached Aaron Rodgers. That wasn't happening. Stephon Gilmore they signed as a rental for the year, and it's not enough because they have injuries. They make excuses for injuries every single week if their offensive line is not fully healthy, especially for that Arizona game. There's always excuses every single week. But this offense for the Cowboys is catered to Dak Prescott for short throws to make things look really easy. You cannot trust the team, the front office does not trust Dak Prescott with the game on his back. He will not lift up other players. That's just not the way. He can't throw 150 to 170 yards, okay, and do the bare minimum because that's what he's doing. When your defense, this is like the first time where the defense, at least for the Cowboys, really struggled, okay, against the 49ers offense. And what needs to happen? The offense has to pick the defense up. And when it all goes on the line, Dak Prescott is just, he's a dink and dunk quarterback. I think what they've lost really in Dak Prescott, even the past few years, was his mobility. They don't use his mobility. I think that's when he's been most dangerous in years. The mobility is lost. They don't have a bruiser back in the end zone. Their drafting completely sucked this year. Nobody has worked out. What has Deuce Vaughn has done? Not much. I mean, seriously, what has he done? Shoemaker, what has he done? Mozzie Smith's got one combined tackle for the year. One, okay? You know what I mean? So they've hyped up almost every move because the Cowboys are really not the big move makers in the offseason. They made a couple moves. They got really excited. The Cowboys fans got excited. And because they were scoring 30, 40 points a game, or close to 40 points a game, they were thinking that winning in style was the most important thing. I'm not comparing this team to the Eagles because the Eagles are not getting blown out by teams. It's just not. This is the first time the Cowboys got blown out this year by a contending team, okay? We're going to find out what the San Francisco 49ers are all about when the Eagles do face them later this season, because I think the top two NFC teams are the 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles, no doubt, because we could face them this year and play them in the playoffs. So who knows? The Cowboys try to get the monkey off their back, and they just couldn't get it done, okay? I think they get throughout the fan base to what the network says. I think they get all this hype attention because it's good for the ratings. And then when it comes to when they play, they went to this 49ers game. The defense had great statistics, and it was just bandaged up. It was fake. They didn't show up. They just didn't show up, and I don't give a shit about it. I'm making this video because a lot of these content creators that for the Cowboys, especially some of them, not all of them, some of them are very good, and some of them are just, they talk all this shit, and then they'll disappear. When they lost against the Arizona Cardinals, half of these guys didn't make videos for like 6 days. I don't get it, dude. Like, I don't get why people can't man up and make a video on, like, your team losing because you did too much of this. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys are just all Jesus Christ, I can't even it's just the shit that I've been reading since the first week of the season has just been ridiculous. It's just been nuts. Okay? All bark, no bite. That's what this team has been. That a lot of show for what they have done against not great opponents. And when they face a real opponent, that one is definitely going to hurt. The last thing that needs to happen right now to the Cowboys is they go into L.A. against the Chargers, and their ex-offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, literally puts an ass-whooping on them. Okay, I think a lot of Cowboy fans are missing Kellen Moore. I think that's definitely true. You know what I mean? And this is a safety course offense for Dak. Simple as that. Because once the Cowboys, okay, once the Cowboys were down 14-7 the San Francisco game. Okay, once they were down a touchdown, once they were starting to look like they were in trouble as time was moving on, there was fumbles back and forth, there was turnovers. Dak will start throwing panically. He'll start through that deep one downfield and just panic throw it, and it just got worse. I was at least waiting for one pick from Dak Prescott in that 49ers game when they were up a touchdown. He threw one deep for an interception that was nowhere near the receiver. Then he just kept throwing them and throwing them. So he threw 3 picks in one game. I don't get why fans can't be realistic with their team. Like if we're the Eagles are 5-0. I'm not like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Super Bowl, I'm not doing this shit. Like you got to take shit week for week. A great example for that, okay? Miami beats the Broncos 70 points. Wow. Okay, then the Bills destroy Miami. What the hell? And then Miami, the Giants actually put up they got destroyed, but the Giants, Miami didn't look too great with the throwing, and the Giants were able to run on them. So it's all flash, no consistency, it's all flash, it's all in the moment. Week to week league, that's what it's all about. It changes every week, whether it's injuries, whether it's teams taking another team, Washington taking Chicago lightly and getting beat at their own stadium. Like, it happens every single week. Beating on the Giants 40-0, beating on the Jets 30-10, beating on losing to Arizona. winning against the Patriots, and then you finally face a worthy opponent from all those games, and you get your shit rocked. And that's what these fans deserve. To look at that, bring them down a notch, push the brakes a little bit, and say that, man, maybe this team isn't good. But, you have those Dak apologists out there, the ones that are always going to support him and always root for him. And let me tell you something, it's a business at the end of the day. I don't care how long a player is here for. If he's starting to crumble, you cut it quick. If the cancer is growing, you cut it, but that's not what they're doing, They have a lazy owner / GM in Jerry Jones that hasn't changed his ways in 150 years. And until he croaks one day, nothing is really going to suffice with that team unless Stephen Jones takes over and he's even worse, So that's all I really got to say. They were winning in style for the first 4 weeks, and they made a big deal about it. And I'm not comparing them to the Eagles. The Eagles have issues on their own, and they're 5-0, and they're not playing the best football right now. But I'm not sitting here pumping my chest. Super Bowl contenders. Oh, this should be an easy matchup every single week. Got to be realistic. Got to be humble. And trust me, a lot of Cowboy fans are humbled right now, and they'll be back on track once they beat Chicago. Once they beat the LA Chargers, if that's the case, and they beat their old offensive coordinator. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things going on with that team. And, it made me feel so great that they were literally put into a reality check at the end of that game. Everybody was hiding. There hasn't been a peep. It's been quiet. And, a lot of guys have no balls to show their face and say, hey, I talked a lot of shit. My team really sucks. And, I got to take it from everybody. But, they'll come back at the end of the week and be like, oh, it's just a bad game. Let's try to get this on track. And nah, dude, the Cowboys just fell apart. They just fell apart, and they were exposed that game. If I ever see the Eagles lose and get killed, if the Eagles got killed 42-10, I know they got beaten physically, they got beaten mentally, they got outcoached, they just got outplayed, and they were just out-talented by that 49ers team. Okay, Dak Prescott is never going to be like Brock Purdy, and I don't even think much about him, and he just had a fantastic game. He was great in the pocket. Perfect, setting his feet in the pocket. Dak is the Cowboys cater to his weaknesses, to his strengths, and hide his weaknesses in that offense. That's just the truth. That's not me being an Eagles fan against the Cowboys. That's just the truth. Okay, they miss Ezekiel Elliott for red zone. The red zone has been horrific. Okay, so I mean, their draft picks are not doing anything. They've had nobody. I don't care what these guys have done against bad teams. Against a good team, who was your highlight in that game? Who was the highlight? Because I didn't see much of anything from that highlight. Okay? The defense at times got in there, but you have guys, dealing with injuries. This is what happens during the year. This is what it is. You just got to deal with it. And if you lose, the injuries can't be the main excuse. If you lose, you reset and you go into next week and just pray for the team and see what they do. It's all you can do. But I think there's been a big reality check here. And the Cowboys, in my opinion, I was kind of, I was looking to see, all right, maybe, I said to myself, if the Cowboys win against the 49ers, they're going to be legit. I said if they beat the 49ers, they might be a legit team. They might be a pretty legit team. If they put a whooping on the 49ers, I said, damn, they're going to get some good attention from that. And might be a team we have to watch out for. Who knows? But damn, that quarterback is a joke. Total joke. Let them keep Dak for another year. I don't really care. I know for a fact that a lot of guys are going to be calling for Trey Lance, Trey Lance to start, and that's just the truth to it all. And that's not me being a dick or nothing like that, but it's true. In Philadelphia, it's almost been the same thing. Like Gardner Minshew played one good game, everybody wanted him to start quarterback because they thought Hurts was still going to be. You know what I mean? So you never know what could happen. But that's all I got to say. The Cowboys were, we knew what they were the whole season, and there was something smelled fishy about it for all of the past 4 weeks, and that fifth week against the 49ers was the perfect test for them, and they couldn't do nothing. Absolutely nothing. They couldn't get pressure on Purdy. The defense, and look, you cannot do the bare minimum. You cannot You cannot do the bare minimum and throw for 150, 170 yards a game and look that great. Can't happen. That defense for the Cowboys is good, but if they struggle, it's over. If they struggle, that offense isn't going to put them on the. I've seen Jalen Hurts put the team on his back during in-game, whether it's with his feet or with his throwing arm. I've seen it firsthand. With Dak Prescott, I haven't seen it. It's short throws. It's little things they're trying to hide. No Cowboy old heads, nobody that's known this team for years has any faith in that quarterback, and that's just the truth. He sucks. He's not good. Statistically, I don't care what it looks like because I've seen what he did. A lot of the points from the Giants game defensively, the Jets defense, yeah, they've had issues in red zone and shit like that, but to win in style like that, to say, oh man, they're that good, there was something wrong with that. I knew for a fact that this was the most fraudulent fucking team I have ever seen this year. They are not a top team in the NFC, no doubt. Okay? If the Eagles get beat that bad in a game, then the Eagles got outplayed horribly, and they just gave up at a certain point. So that's all I really got to say about it. You know, hate it, love it, whatever the case may be. Dak Prescott just can't put the team on his back. He's not built that way. He's not made that way. The Dak apologists are the people that are just going to still support him. You know, and obviously if he's still starting, I agree. You still support your quarterback if you think that he's not going to keep his job. I get it. But reality's reality. He's not the guy. He's not the guy. And I'm just speaking from a fan perspective, not even an Eagles versus Cowboys perspective. But he sucks. Like, you know, Jalen Hurts obviously has played better this year somewhat, and Jalen Hurts has struggled this year too. And the Eagles have two brand new coordinators, and they're 5-0. They know how to win football games. Close games, but they've been winning. You barely beat this team. You barely beat that team. That shit does not matter, man. Winning by 30, 40. If I was winning by 30, 40 points, I'd feel good. I'd feel comfortable every stream sitting here like, man, feel good. But there's going to come a time where, is this all for show? Is this all show? Is this all masked? Is it camouflaged? Is it bullshit like that? That's until we face a real contender, a real good team. And the Eagles are about to face the second half of this season with a lot of good teams, and we're going to find out, you know, do they get beat badly by these teams? Do the Eagles show that they can stay with these guys, these competing teams later on, or do they fall apart like the Dallas Cowboys? And I hardly doubt they're going to fall apart this fucking badly if it happens. We're not going undefeated. I know this. I don't want to go undefeated anyway. It's just more pressure on this team regardless. But I know people are going to be pissed and start crying at this video. So that's all I got to say. You guys have a fantastic day, and, you know, have a fantastic day. We them boys. Peace out.